Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, um, so yesterday's election in Canada has been interesting how it has played out as far as that goes. So, in a way, there was something kind of funny. Um, how I stumbled upon this one channel that was called 22 Minutes. And so they were kind of like a Canadian version of College Humor in a way. And so they were making reference to the election at that point. And so there was this group of people who were in the Ottawa's campaign office for the NDP, and they were just it was supposed to be like a joke about the NDP voters, as far as some of them would be, Trustafarians that would vote for NDP or something like that, you know, and then one of them who was wanting them to take the whole matter seriously, and where they said something like, "We're only going to have 7 seats," and then lo and behold, they ended up only having 7 seats in the upcoming parliament, as far as that goes. So, considering how everything else is that Mark Carney is still prime minister, at least for now, until something else happens as far as when it comes to the next federal election, but there's still like changes here and there as far as the by-elections, as far as that goes. So that's just something that is another thing that has to be put into consideration. But in a way, it's still a minority government, which I had said at one point that was probably was going to be the likely case scenario, because of course, there are certain people that are still don't really like Trudeau's antics and all, but will still be willing to give Mark Carney a chance as far as being prime minister, and as far as the Liberals, for at least the time being, until as far as like the Conservative Party getting their act together, as far as that goes. You know what I mean? But speaking of like conservatives, Pierre Poilievre had lost his own seat, so therefore, the Conservative Party has to scramble as far as who is going to lead the Conservative Party and be a good leader of opposition, against Mark Carney, as far as that goes. And then as far as when it comes to the NDP, there has to be a lot of like other things that they need to do, as far as now that Jagmeet Singh is also been ousted because he lost his seat in last night's election, as far as that goes. And I think it just depends on like who could be the good face for NDP, as far as that goes. And then as far as when it comes to the Bloc Party, that's another thing altogether, And so, considering all of that, I think that the Conservatives have their work cut out for them, as far as that goes. But But I think it just depends on, you know, the broader implications as far as here on out, as far as the next coming years, as far as when the next uh, federal election would be, you know. So that is just one of the things here. But considering all that, I guess that's probably it. So talk to you guys later.